Ayo, that's the best Sean Anderson I can do. Ayo, welcome in to CHGO Bets Daily, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. As you can see, if you're live watching us on YouTube right now, Sean's not here. That's why I did the intro, and it wasn't as good as his. I'm joined today with Kevin K, head of content at CHGO, stepping in for Sean, and I'm Cody. You can follow me on Twitter at Cody_CHGO. Kevin, what's going on, man?
What's going on, Cody? Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you.
Hello,
remotely.
friends. Hello, friend.
Hello.
It's Thursday at the Masters.
Yeah, me and Sean talked about the Masters yesterday, but you know, it's day one. It's the most one of the bigger golf tournaments of the year. So we figured we'd go through the live lines right now for the first few minutes, and then we'll have some baseball bets later in the show. I have half of the show hit parlay. Sean never sent his side, so I came up with two more legs that we can add to it.
Gotcha.
So stick around for that. Kevin, who do you have on the Masters?
So I kind of blind bet two dudes, two favorites that I like to put in when majors roll around. Kind of went with the lower guy at plus 2,500. Justin Thomas, obviously, he's been playing very well the last year and a half or so. So, you know, you got to take one of the bigger guys. So I went with JT. Then just took a shot, and I just kind of went with a guy who's always kind of hanging around. I think he played pretty well at Valspar. That's Tommy Fleetwood. He looks like one of my old friends from Yahoo, Dan Devine. So I like when I see that. So we're rolling with that. And I did it just straight up to win. Sometimes I do the chop it up and do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Didn't do that this time. Probably get a little bit more involved as the weekend goes on and as this weekend shakes out. I hope you didn't put any money on Tiger Woods, though. He's already 3 over.
I put $1 on him to just win because the odds were so good. Like plus 9,000. I
saw that.
$1 to win like $150 is like whatever. It's Tiger.
Yeah.
I want to root for Tiger. But yeah, I mean, I did place a few bucks on Jordan Spieth because I know he's won the tournament before. John Rahm is also kind of one of the more popular picks. I got him at plus 950 right now. He's plus 700 on DraftKings Sportsbook. So maybe. I
love those picks because experience does matter at Augusta, right? I mean, Jordan Spieth did win it, was 6 holes away from winning it back-to-back years. And it's obviously been a kind of a long road back to where he's kind of at now. A lot of things went on in his life, and staying at the top is tough. John Rahm, I love, I've covered golf in the past, and I just kind of like the way that he approaches the game. I like that he really puts a big part of the reason that he's on the PGA Tour and not with Live Golf is that he loves the history of golf. And, obviously Live golfers can still, play on the Masters, but he loves the history, even the non-majors. And so obviously winning the green jacket would mean a great deal to him. So I like that. But then you also look like a guy like Scotty Scheffler, who's just been destroying everyone. And it's not a sexy bet, but it's like, okay, well, if you want to be safe with your money and have the best odds, maybe you just go with Scotty Scheffler. I don't know, to win it. So.
I mean, you look at all the juicy odds for some of these underdogs or whatever, and then you see the favorite, and the favorite's like plus 650 before it starts.
Right, to win a golf tournament, right? Which is, and obviously the Masters is not as big of a field, but still, that's I think I told you this before, though. I forgot when Hideki Matsuyama won. Was it 2 or 3 years ago? And I did the same thing where I was going to blind bet someone, and I had a really good NCAA tournament, and I was like, all right, I'm going to put, I think he was like 4,000 to 1 or plus 4,000. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to put $100 on this, right? And then I'm like, wait, what am I doing? Like, why would you bet 100? You know, that's a lot of money. I don't usually bet that. But I actually felt pretty good because Hideki Matsuyama is one of those guys, a really great golfer. You show up to these tournaments, all the Japanese reporters are always asking, when is he going to win? I'm like, maybe he comes through at the Masters. That would be a really crazy story. Long story short, I bring my bet down to $25, and he wins. I've never been like more upset to win $1,000 in my life. like literally, it was on the screen. I was at the checkout page.
Yeah. Well, I've never really done well in golf. I gave this out yesterday. I feel like this was a smart bet. It is a parlay, so maybe it's not smart because it's a parlay, but it's a 3-leg parlay, $10 to win 36. It came out to plus 260.
Okay.
Justin Rose to finish the top 40, Jordan Spieth to finish the top 30, and Dustin Johnson to finish in the top 20. Spieth was minus 300 to finish the top 30, and Rose was minus 225 to finish the top 40, and Johnson's minus 115 to finish in the top 20. Now, the reason I went with Rose and Spieth, they missed the cut last year, so I think that they're, might have a lot more motivation or are hoping to finish better this time around.
Sure.
I went with that aspect of, bouncing back, I guess you could say, and then Dustin Johnson, he's just consistently finishing in the top 20 year in and year out in this tournament. So
Jordan, Justin, and Johnson, the Triple J bet. I like it.
Yeah. So $10 to win 36 at plus 260. It wasn't like, it's not like the juiciest odds or anything, but I just feel like that's a little bit more of a fun bet to make because like it's so hard to figure out who's going to win this thing. So do a little parlay of some guys that you think can at least finish in a certain spectrum of the leaderboard.
I think the one thing the Masters does offer you is that it is at the same course every year. It does set up well to particular players, who plays well there, who doesn't play well there. So it's not like the U.S. Open where it's a different track. They mess with the golfers every which way, and that makes it a little bit more difficult. The Masters, I feel like you can at least draw a circle around the guys who are going to show up at that course.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, good luck on your Masters plays. I'm just hoping I'm just hoping my guys hang around. I hope they make the cut. I think I got to hope for that first, right?
I'm on a good run, Cody. I feel good. I won a parlay on Monday night. Did well betting LSU on Sean Anderson's advice on Sunday. I went out to the Blackhawks game on Saturday night with one of my friends who's actually from Switzerland, and he didn't know about how to online gamble, so I'm showing him the DraftKings Sportsbook app on the phone, and I said, look, you can bet any of these players to win a goal. He says, well, you should bet one of the Swiss players to win a goal. There's actually, I think, 4 Swiss players on the New Jersey Devils, which is part of the reason we were there. And he said, well, put $10 on Timo Meier to score a goal. So we did it. And literally 3 minutes later, he scored a goal. It was amazing.
Oh, that's the best feeling. That's the best feeling.
Love it.
The best feeling is when you're at the game and you and your friend or whoever you're with place a bet on something, and then you both win. When it actually happens. We went out to the Big Ten tournament.
You, me, Sean, Jake, and a few others. And we bet that over on the Ohio State-Iowa game, and it got to the point where we were cheering every basket either way. In a United Center that was a quarter full, everyone's looking up like, why are these guys going crazy for every basket? Well, we bet the over.
We bet the over, and unfortunately,
and we didn't hit. But the point was we made some friends along the way.
Exactly. I was at Wrigley Field on Sunday. And these dudes, so I was at Wrigley Field on Saturday and Sunday this past weekend. Met these group of guys on Saturday, and unintentionally saw them again on Sunday in the same section of where I was sitting. And anyway, we became friends because on Saturday their friend group had made a parlay, like a 5-leg parlay for the game.
Okay.
And I was just sitting there with my girlfriend and was just like, all right, I'll sit here and cheer for it with you guys, like whatever. And like the first leg of the parlay was for the first pitch to be a ball.
Yeah.
And it was, and these guys are going absolutely bonkers for the first pitch being a ball. It was
Oh, that's amazing.
one of the more like, I don't know, just awesome moments I've had.
I have so much
Sporting
respect for
event.
parlays like that just hinge on something so, so random happening at the start. Like you just,
Right.
you're not even around for the end of it.
We were sitting there and they told me that, and I was like, all right, so if this first pitch is a strike, this parlay's dead then. They're like, yeah. And I'm like, that's so bizarre. Like I wouldn't put any money down on something like that.
Hey, let me ask you this question, Cody. You're a bleacher guy. You're out in the bleachers a lot. Has the rise of mobile betting killed the pass the cup game out there? And you pass the cup, you put the dollar in the cup, different rules or whatever, but you know what I'm talking about.
I guess
you don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe it has.
I would say that it's died because I have no idea really what you're talking about because I haven't seen much of that at all in the 2 years I've lived here.
So it's like this kind of old like bleacher game. I mean, it's not even a bleacher game. It's kind of a baseball thing. Lawrence is coming over here to talk about it because Lawrence apparently loves this. But yeah, pass the cup. You can you put a dollar in, you have it for a batter, right?
Okay.
And then whatever the rules are, if he singles, you take everything, or you take the dollar back. And if you're holding a cup when someone hits a home run, you take all the money out. So we're gonna have to go to a game and play this year.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. That might have died though, just because like the Cubs do not take cash anymore. It's all mobile or card or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even bring cash to Wrigley.
It's a lot less fun when you're like doing Venmo and putting your phone in the cup.
Yeah. I would agree. Yeah. Anyway, you were just talking about how you and your friend were using DraftKings Sportsbook at the Blackhawks game the other day. It's a great app, right?
It's amazing.
Yeah. So DraftKings Sportsbook is the official betting partner of CHGO and ALLCITY. Right now, we have, I know for MLB, we're going to talk about MLB here in a minute. They're giving out, this week they gave out a no sweat bet, like a no sweat bet on any parlay, I believe it was. Today they have a stepped up same game parlay boost if you want to use it for MLB. They have boosts for the NBA every night. During college basketball season, they had all kinds of boosts. They're giving out boosts for literally anything every single day.
It's one of the for the new bettors, they've got like, and I don't know if this is still true because maybe the tournament started, but they had like plus 1,000 you'd add to anybody for your Masters pick.
Yeah. Oh, I think go before the Masters started, they gave out a plus 300 odds boost just for the winner, whoever you chose to win.
Right.
Extra plus
that was for anybody.
Yeah, for anybody. So it's a lot of good. They're giving you a good reason to log on. Definitely. So download the app now and sign up with code CHGO. New customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. With code CHGO, minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Okay. So since Sean is not here, not yesterday, because when we did the show yesterday, baseball season or the baseball slate was done. But the day before, me and Sean did a show hit parlay because everyone on Twitter knows that I've been doing these hit parlays. I'm 6-4 on the year. I thought I was 7-3 yesterday, and then I realized that I read the box score wrong, and Willie Adames screwed me yesterday. So I'm 6-4 on the year. And I'll just give out my first one that I'm like, it's half of what I would have put in for our show hit parlay today. But again, since Sean is not here, I came up with two more legs. But the first one is Matt Chapman and Charlie Blackmon to get a hit. It's a two-legger.
There you go.
It comes out to plus 107. $10 wins you $20.73. Matt Chapman, he's hitting .429 with 5 homers against Jordan Lyles, who it's the Blue Jays versus the Royals.
That's some good research there. I like that.
Yeah,
good,
right.
Good nugget.
And he's faced him at least 25 times in his career. I want to
Okay.
say is what it said. So I really like Matt Chapman today. And then Charlie Blackmon, he has a home run against Josiah Gray from the Nationals. They're in Colorado. You know how it is at Coors Field. Charlie Blackmon's in the middle of the lineup. Charlie Blackmon
I think
is
it's opening day there too. Everyone
it?
at DNVR is ready to post up at the
Oh
bar
yeah.
there.
I've seen the food that they keep posting from Coors Field.
Yeah.
We need to do a CHGO like trip, like all of us just go to or send all the baseball guys or whatever to Coors Field because I just want to try all the food.
Let's do it.
Anyway, yeah, Charlie Blackmon, he has a home run against Josiah Gray, so he only faced him 3 or 4 times, so it's not a lot. But Josiah Gray doesn't have he's only 25 and he doesn't have a lot of experience in MLB, so not a lot of people have seen him. He wasn't very good in his first start, gave up 5 runs, and again, they're at Coors Field, Rockies opening day there. So I think that he has a good shot to get at least a hit today. Minus 245 for Chapman and minus 235 for Blackmon. And again, when you parlay it, it comes out to plus 107, at least for me when I made it this morning. So that's my afternoon hit parlay this afternoon. You got anything going on?
I do not. We had the title of this show before we saw the lineup. I think it's got Yohan Moncada on it. Moncada's not in. Hanser Alberto is in at third. So should we just ride with Hanser Alberto to come up big today? I don't know.
I was looking at the Giants and White Sox. I guess the lines. The White Sox are a favorite today, minus 120 on the money line. On the run line, they're at plus 150. White Sox covered yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
With Cecil on the mound, Lance Lynn on the mound for the White Sox today. Lance Lynn's been pretty good to start the year. The White Sox, I think they've been to me, they've looked pretty good. They split with the Astros, and then their home opener wasn't great, but they bounced back yesterday, and now they got a chance to win this series. The Giants are as mid as any team in Major League Baseball, in my opinion. So
yeah, what's your approach to betting run line in baseball?
I don't do it a lot, to be honest, because I hate it whenever the team I pick to cover, like if I were to take the Sox minus 1.5 today and they only win by 1, I'm going to be really mad.
Right.
So I stick more to the money lines than I do the run lines. But if I do take a run line, it's normally it's normally on an underdog, because this game is a bad example because the Giants are minus 175 at plus 105 at plus 1.5. But sometimes you can get some underdogs at least like below minus 150 sometimes, in which I'll do it. Like, for instance, the Nationals at plus 1.5 or minus 135. Well, the Nationals are supposed to be one of the worst teams in baseball, but baseball is baseball, and you see crazy things happen. Last year, I always bring this up to people when I tell them about betting on baseball. Last year, right after it was like not even a month after the trade deadline in the second half of the year. Hell, not even like a few weeks. I think it was the Cubs and the Mets. Yeah, it was the Cubs and the Mets played at. I can't remember if it was at Citi Field or if it was at Wrigley, but it doesn't really matter. The Mets had Jacob deGrom going, and the Cubs were throwing out a pitcher who I don't even think is on the roster right now. All right. And the Cubs were like plus 300 on the money line. And so the Mets were huge favorites.
Yeah.
And with DeGrom and with the lineup the Cubs were on, that's like, you look at it and you're like, how are the Cubs going to, there's no chance they win this game. What happens? They mess around and win the game. Like, that's baseball. I think when it comes to betting baseball, I'm all about looking at teams that, how are they playing right now, and how are they, when are you too big of a favorite? Because anytime, it's very rare when you see a team like in that scenario, the Mets were like minus 350. Even like on a consistent basis, when you look at the lines for baseball, most favorites are around minus 250. Like the big favorites, at least like the Dodgers last year, were probably minus 250 a lot or more. But there comes to a point where it's like these are too big of a favorite, and sometimes sprinkling on the underdog isn't a bad idea. So when it comes to run line, I don't do it a lot, but I'll sprinkle on an underdog on the money line sometimes just because like anything can happen in baseball. I mean, again, we've seen it time and time
Yeah.
again. Like for instance, uh, the Pirates, they are supposed to finish as one of the worst teams in the National League this year, and they just won a series in Boston. And I know Boston's really not supposed to be that good this year, but you just look at it on paper and you're like, oh, this Boston team is definitely better on paper than the Pirates. Doesn't matter. The Pirates go into Fenway Park and handle Boston honestly kind of easily in a way
Mm-hmm.
because the Boston's pitching is just not that good. So it's just those kinds of things. I think you definitely have to know a little bit more about the game than the average person, obviously. But I
Sure.
think that it depends on how a team is playing at the time. And I do think matchups mean something, and you got to know if certain players are hitting well or not. And I guess for that specific game last year for the Cubs and the Mets, the Cubs had started playing decently in the second half, and I know we all know the history of Jacob DeGrom on the Mets and how he never gets run support. So I just
Right.
kind of rode with that, like okay, the Cubs are kind of playing okay
And it
right
came
now,
in, yeah.
and Jacob DeGrom never gets run support, so let's try it out at plus 300. Why not? And it
Yeah.
worked out. So
I
it's one
felt
of
the
those.
same way with the LSU at plus 150, right? Like
Yeah,
so much of that I think was predicated because so much money was on Iowa and Caitlin Clark, and everyone loved that feel good story. But you look at LSU, and it's like, okay, well, they've got a better coach, they've got a deeper lineup, they've got just as good, they've got all Americans in their lineup. Why wouldn't you take plus money at that, and it, end up
right,
paying off, really well? So, but
right.
I also
So
kind of like, I like hearing you talk about that DeGrom thing because I remember a game probably about 10 years ago where the Phillies came to town on a Sunday night and Roy Halladay was pitching, and it was like, all right, let's go see Roy Halladay pitch against the Cubs. This guy's going to be a Hall of Famer. I loved watching Halladay, and I forgot who he was. God, I always have to go back and look this up because he was just playing, going against a mid starter against the Cubs. I mean, it was one of their down years, and the guy just went out there and shut down the Phillies, and Halladay got roughed up by the Cubs, and it was like, this stuff doesn't make sense. I went out there to watch Halladay, be Roy Halladay,
yeah,
and that wasn't the case. The opposite was true that night. So you never
yeah.
know.
So for like a good example of what I was explaining today is weirdly enough, the Red Sox and the Tigers they're the first game of the afternoon. They start in 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Tigers at home, a home underdog plus 120 against the Red Sox. Chris Sale versus Spencer Turnbull. Both
Yeah,
starters weren't great in their last start. Turnbull didn't even pitch at all last year. I think he had obviously he was hurt. And Chris Sale's been hurt in the last few years, obviously too. So I expect Sale to be a little bit better today, but at the same time, like it's hard to trust considering he just hasn't been able to play. But you can get the Tigers at home at plus 120 against a Red Sox team that the pitching hasn't been very good so far this year, coming off a loss against the Pirates.
sure.
I kind of like the Tigers here at plus 120 on the money line. Um, that's probably the one I like the one underdog I do like the most today. I kind of like the Diamondbacks later tonight, Merrill Kelly against Dustin May, but the reason that I'm not touching it is because the Dodgers have a lot of experience against Merrill Kelly. A lot of their players do. Yeah, I ain't touching that. But again, it's not going to work every single time, but that's just kind of how I look at things when it comes to looking at those underdogs.
Well,
Because
you're already losing money on Tiger. You could lose more money on the Tigers,
true,
Cody. So maybe
true,
stay away from that one.
right. So to close out the show, like I said, I'm adding Chapman and Blackman, just my afternoon hit parlay. For Sean, I'm doing this for Sean, and I know he's a big Andrew Vaughn guy, so I went ahead and threw Andrew Vaughn in there. He's got 2 doubles in the series.
Okay.
He's had the last 3 games. His total base total has gone over the 1.5, so he's been hitting the ball for more than just singles the last 3 games. So I'm throwing Andrew Vaughn in there as our one White Sox player, and then. I was just talking about the Dodgers and how they have a lot of experience against Merrill Kelly. Well, I'm throwing Mookie Betts in there because he's going to be at the top of the line. He's going to get the most opportunities, and he has 3 home runs against Merrill Kelly in his career. So
All right, let's
uh,
go.
that 4-legger comes out to plus 300. All right, so that's the show hit parlay for today, guys. Yeah. Anything else? Kevin?
Not for my end. I wish you luck with your hits bets. I'm going to have to come up with something here to make the afternoon interesting. So,
all right. Well, that's today's CHGO Bets Daily. Hopefully Sean is back for our next show, and we will see you all when we are millionaires.